What up? It's your boy T-Bear here on the reaction. Today is Royal Rumble Reactions Part 2. Now I'm going to check out some stuff that happened in Royal Rumble that wasn't okay. Royal Rumble, you know what I'm saying? This is a couple of videos from WrestleMania, as well as some crazy spots in Royal Rumble. All three from WrestleMania. So first one we'll check it is 10 worst WWE Royal Rumble decisions ever made. You might got a glimpse of it from like winners we didn't want, or winners we didn't want, as well as what other ones I reacted to today as well. That's viewing today I react to as well. Yeah, pretty much worst entries as well. So we're going to check this out. So without further ado, let's hear from WrestleMania on some of the issues on the worst decisions made in Royal Rumble histories. Let's get it.
The Royal Rumble pay-per-view is one of the most historic and decorated pay-per-views on WWE's calendar. Since 1988, fans have eagerly anticipated the yearly event, and it usually promises suspense and surprises, but sometimes WWE's booking of the signature event leaves a lot to be desired.
Alright, hold on a second. I forget to do this before I start my videos, but anyway, let's go.
Throughout the history of the event, WWE have made some questionable booking decisions when it comes to the show. This doesn't just relate to the Rumble match itself, as other matches on the Rumble card have controversial outcomes. Join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 of the most questionable Royal Rumble booking decisions ever. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Also check out our new channel, WrestleMania Shorts. Number 10, Sheamus wins the 2012 Rumble.
Oh yeah.
Heading into the 2012 Rumble, all WWE
that was mentioned earlier in winners that nobody wanted.
Fans were talking about was Chris Jericho. Jericho has made his highly anticipated return to WWE in the weeks leading up to the event, and Jericho had promised that at the Royal Rumble, fans would see the end of the world. Jericho was red hot, and it seemed a certainty that Jericho was going to win the 2012 Rumble and wrestle WWE Champion CM Punk at WrestleMania 28. However, Vince McMahon had other ideas, and Jericho would do extremely well in the Rumble itself, lasting until the final two, but the match was eventually won by Sheamus. Sheamus was popular at this point in 2012, but a Rumble victory simply wasn't warranted or desired by fans. Therefore, upon Sheamus' victory, fans were left disappointed, and it was a huge missed opportunity by not having Jericho win the Rumble match for the first time in his decorated career. Number 9, Shane McMahon's elite booking. Shane McMahon made a surprise return at the 2022 Royal Rumble, but this return led to a ton of controversy. Shane would act as one of the agents of the match, and he booked himself incredibly strong, so much that Shane would last until the final four, and he would even eliminate fan favourites such as Kevin Owens. Shane's performance was lackluster, as he would botch several spots, including his own elimination at the hands of Brock Lesnar. This strong presentation of Shane received widespread criticism from fans and even fellow WWE talent, and it actually led to Vince McMahon cutting ties with Shane and firing him from WWE indefinitely. It later surfaced that the booking of the prodigal son could have been way worse, as Shane had made some downright bizarre pitches for the match, and most of them centered on him being the star of the entire match. Number 8, Ronda Rousey returns. Speaking of the 2022 Royal Rumble, it wasn't just Shane McMahon's booking that was loathed by fans, as Ronda Rousey's return was also questioned. Rousey would make her grand return in the Women's Rumble match and ended up winning the entire thing. Rousey's performance in the match was criticized, as Rousey was botching basic moves, and it began to look like Rousey didn't even want to be there. Fans were also confused as to whether or not they were supposed to boo or cheer her. Rousey left WWE as a heel, but
this is like, and that's why I always feel like they need to just drop the alignment system. I really do, because it's the system don't work no more. It don't. Just drop it. Just don't have no face or heel. Just let fans really like no face and heel, nothing like that. Definitely would take away a lot of dilemma, confliction, and stress for real. But let me say, we need it for a storyline. At this point, just don't let the story speak itself or anything. I don't know. It's not needed no more, man.
Commentators and her conduct in the match presented her as a babyface. Her return in the match ultimately fell flat, and when it surfaced that Rousey would be facing Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 38, fan excitement for the biggest show of the year drastically plummeted. Number 7, Vince McMahon wins the Royal Rumble. The Attitude Era was an exciting time to be a wrestling fan, and you would assume that WWE would go all out during the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. The 1999 edition of the match centered around the ongoing saga between Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and McMahon would end up winning the whole thing in a shock surprise. Whilst this was a great catalyst for the next chapter in the rivalry, a non-wrestler winning one of the biggest matches of the year was an utter waste. WWE had clear, concrete plans for WrestleMania 15 to be main evented by The Rock and Stone Cold, but the WWE wanted to throw another barrier in Austin's way. But was this really the most appropriate way to do it? Number 6. The 2006 main event. Rey Mysterio winning the 2006 Royal Rumble is one of the most iconic Rumble moments of all time. It began Mysterio's push into the main event scene, and this Rumble win will culminate when he would win the world title at WrestleMania 22. Whilst it was virtually impossible to criticize his booking move, what fans were all in agreement on was that they should have closed out the show. Instead of Mysterio's major win closing out the pay-per-view, WWE decided to book the Mark Henry vs. Kurt Angle World title match as the main event. This was an unusual...
that was, because that's probably why now they end the shows with Royal Rumble now. But yeah, the Royal Rumble should always end the match, you know what I mean? It always should, especially since if the opponent either somebody lose the title, don't win the title, they can actually chance to be entering the Royal Rumble, but as a surprise interest. But yeah, I will agree that was definitely a bad decision right there. Hold on a second real quick, because I probably time me touch my nose. All right, I'm back. Let's keep going.
Decision, and the match was rather lackluster. The only reason they wanted to have the match on last was that it was to feature The Undertaker destroying the ring, but this didn't remotely warrant the main event slot on one of the illustrious shows of the year. Number 5. Roman Reigns wins the 2015 Rumble.
Till this day, I feel bad for babyface Roman Den over this, man, because I was out there on the crowd was so brutal to him, man. Even The Rock couldn't help. It was so sad, man.
And in terms of worst Royal Rumble
this is definitely when like we was entering the alternate universe of the WWE universe, where we was definitely in some bizarre shit with wrestling and going forward, man, for real.
The 2015 edition of the match is up there with the very worst. The match was a perfect example of how not to book the match, as all WWE were focused on was getting Roman Reigns over. The match was booked atrociously, as stars such as The Big Show and Kane would eliminate fan favourites such as Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose. This completely deflated the crowd, and combined with the early elimination of Daniel Bryan, the crowd simply wanted nothing to do with the match. When Roman Reigns eventually won, the crowd outright rejected this win, and the majority of the blame would fall on Reigns. This would unfortunately heavily damage his relationship with the fan base for years to come. Even when The Rock would make a surprise return to save Reigns from a beatdown during the match's climax, the crowd would even boo The Rock, which reportedly made The Rock furious, as he was fully aware that WWE had booked the match in an incompetent manner. Number 4, the Hardy Boys break up. One of the biggest storylines heading into the 2009 Royal Rumble was centered on the WWE Champion Jeff Hardy. A mystery man was making Jeff's life hell for months, and this included notable incidents such as Jeff being attacked before the 2008 Survivor Series and Jeff being involved in a car accident. Jeff would defend his title against Edge at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and in shocking fashion, Matt Hardy would turn on Jeff, allowing Edge to recapture the championship. This was a controversial booking move, as a fan desire to see the two Hardy Boys feud was simply not there, as fans had always preferred them as a duo. Extra criticism was directed at the decision to have Jeff drop the title just 1 month after winning it, as fans expected Jeff to walk into WrestleMania 25 as WWE Champion, but WWE had other ideas. The angle made little sense, as WWE struggled to justify why Matt had turned on his brother, and the main reason that the storyline made no sense was because Matt originally wasn't supposed to be the one responsible for Jeff's accidents. Instead, it was supposed to be a returning Christian, but upon these creative plans leaking online, WWE cancelled the idea and opted to have Christian return on a random episode of ECW. Talk about disappointing.
And
Number 3, The Rock ends...
And Lobby said that was a bad spot there too.
CM Punk's title reign. The Rock vs John Cena at WrestleMania 28 was a dream match that truly delivered and was a major financial success for WWE. However, when it surfaced that WWE planned on doing a rematch at WrestleMania 29, fans instantly questioned what WWE were thinking. The WrestleMania 28 encounter was endlessly marketed as once-in-a-lifetime encounter, and for WWE to once again book the match was an insult to the fans. When it transpired that WWE wanted the match to be for the title, fans were furious, as CM Punk was in the midst of a legendary run as WWE Champion, and not a single fan wanted this to come to an end. Punk would face The Rock at the 2013 Royal Rumble, and the WWE had The Rock defeat Punk, ending his 434-day reign as champion. If WWE were insisting on booking The Rock vs Cena Part 2, it simply didn't need the championship. This booking move was criticized by fans, and Punk has even spoken at length about how hurt he was by dropping the title just before WrestleMania 29. It's certainly a booking decision that has aged terribly, and this was a creative vision that WWE should have never followed through on. Number 2, Edge's short title reign. Edge winning the WWE title for the first time in his career at the start of 2006
can't speak on that because he was heel at the time, so
legendary moment. Edge would cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase at the New Year's Revolution pay-per-view to defeat Cena for the title. When a rematch between Edge and Cena was announced for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, fans assumed that this was just a standard rematch, which would see Edge get a decisive win over Cena. Sadly, WWE had other ideas, as Edge's WWE title reign would come to an end just after 3 weeks, as he was defeated clean by John Cena. This was a downright awful decision, as Edge had the star power and popularity to walk into WrestleMania 22 as WWE Champion, but WWE wanted their biggest show of the year to be headlined by Cena vs Triple H. And number 1, Batista wins the 2014 Royal Rumble. The 2014 Royal Rumble is infamous in the eyes of WWE fans. The match saw the crowd heckle and turn on virtually every wrestler in the match, as WWE outright refused to book fan favorite Daniel Bryan in the match. The winner of the match, Batista, was supposed to be the biggest babyface in the match, but even he was heavily booed, and it was clear that Batista's run as a babyface simply wasn't going to work. This match was also notable for the last appearance of CM Punk, as Punk would notoriously walk out of the WWE the very next night, as there was a ton of issues in the match itself, including Punk taking numerous bumps with an established concussion. The match was a true disaster and was a clear sign that WWE at this point in 2014 were out of touch in what terms the fans actually wanted to see. But there you have it, folks.
Yeah, that is definitely true right now. That they were losing on shelves, man. They getting the touch somewhat back, but they still have some touch or anything. But other than that, this was a good video from Lamia. But other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to the channel. About to get to another one from WrestleMania. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.